The massive screen in Earth's Defense Command Center lit up with unknown signals. Admiral Smith stood frozen, his coffee cup halfway to his lips. After decades of searching the stars, humanity had finally got its answer. They were not alone. "Sir, 3 objects just appeared beyond Mars' orbit," reported Lieutenant Wilson, her fingers flying across the holographic display. "They're not matching any known human designs." The Admiral placed his cup down carefully. "Show me." The main screen flickered to life, revealing 3 sleek vessels that gleamed like polished obsidian against the backdrop of space. Their designs defied Earth's understanding of aerospace engineering. They looked more like art pieces than warships. "Get me the President," Admiral Smith ordered, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "And contact the UN Space Council. They'll want to see this." Within hours, the world's leaders gathered virtually while Earth's most advanced warships took defensive positions around the planet. Humanity had prepared for this moment for over a century, but now that it arrived, the weight of responsibility felt overwhelming. The alien ships made no aggressive moves. They simply hung in space, waiting. After 6 hours of observation, they broadcast their first message. It came through in perfect English, translated by artificial intelligence aboard their vessels. "People of Earth, you are now in the presence of the Galactic Empire, rulers of 10,000 star systems and guardians of civilization for 50 millennia. Prepare to receive our emissaries." The message was simple, direct, and carried an undertone that made Admiral Smith's military instincts flare with warning. He had heard similar tones before, in historical recordings of empires delivering terms of surrender to their soon-to-be colonies. "Sir," Wilson called out, "they're launching a shuttle." The meeting point was arranged in the neutral ground of the International Space Station. Admiral Smith led the Earth delegation, accompanied by diplomats from major world powers. As the airlock cycled, humans got their first look at their galactic neighbors. The Imperial delegates stood nearly 7 feet tall, their bodies covered in what appeared to be living metal armor. Their faces remained hidden behind ornate masks, but their body language spoke of absolute confidence, or perhaps arrogance. "We have watched your civilization for some time," the lead Imperial spoke, its voice resonating through the station's modules. "Your species shows promise, but lacks proper guidance. The Empire offers you the opportunity to join our realm as a protectorate race." Admiral Smith kept his expression neutral, though his jaw tightened. "We appreciate your offer, but Earth is an independent world. We would be happy to establish diplomatic relations as equals." The Imperials' reaction was immediate and visceral. Their armor rippled with patterns of light that somehow conveyed disgust. "Equals," the leader said, the word dripping with disdain. "Your species barely managed to reach your own moon. You have no understanding of your place in the galaxy." "Perhaps," Smith replied calmly, "but we understand our place on Earth, and we're not looking for new management." The lead Imperial stepped forward, towering over the human delegation. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. The Empire does not negotiate with primitive species. You will submit to Imperial rule, or you will face extinction. You have 48 Earth hours to deliver your surrender." The meeting ended abruptly, with the Imperials returning to their shuttle. As Smith watched them leave, he activated his secure communication link to Earth's military command. "Initiate Protocol Omega," he ordered quietly, "and contact the vault. Tell them to wake up the A's. We're going to need everything we've got." Back on their ship, the Imperial delegation reviewed their encounter. "Such primitive beings," one commented. "They don't even understand the honor we offer them." The lead Imperial nodded. "Standard procedure. If they refuse submission, we'll demonstrate our power. A single city should suffice. They'll surrender like all the others." But in the depths of Earth's military installations, humanity was far from surrendering. Hidden facilities around the globe hummed to life. Orbital defense platforms, invisible to Imperial scans, powered up their systems. In underground bases, experimental weapons were prepared for deployment. Admiral Smith stood in the command center, watching the Imperial ships on the main screen. "Send word to all commands," he ordered. "But keep radio silence. Let them think we're just a primitive species in panic." He allowed himself a small smile. "Let's show them why humans have survived every extinction event that's ever threatened Earth." The clock started counting down. Humanity had 48 hours to prepare for its first interstellar war. The Galactic Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson. Never judge a species by its apparent level of technology. Sometimes, the most dangerous predators are the ones that know how to hide their teeth. The Imperial War Council gathered in their flagship's Strategic Command Center. Holographic displays showed Earth from multiple angles, with targeting data highlighting major cities and military installations. "These humans are amusing," said General Reed, his metallic armor reflecting the blue glow of the displays. "They haven't even tried to evacuate their cities. They truly don't understand what's coming." Lord Marcus, the Empire's head strategist, stood quietly in the corner. His centuries of experience in conquering worlds told him something was wrong. "General," he said softly, "don't you find it strange? Every species we've encountered has shown panic at this stage. Mass evacuations, desperate pleas for mercy, attempted space battles. But the humans, they're too calm. They're primitive," Reed dismissed with a wave. "Their orbital satellites show only basic weapon systems. Their ships can barely reach Mars. What could they possibly do?" The meeting was interrupted by an urgent alert. "Sir, we've lost contact with our scout ships near their moon." The room fell silent. General Reed leaned forward. "What do you mean, lost contact?" "They just disappeared, sir. No distress signal, no explosion. They're just gone." Lord Marcus stepped closer to the displays. "Show me their last known positions." The hologram shifted, revealing the dark side of Earth's moon. "Interesting. General, did you notice that we've never seen what's on the far side of their moon? All their satellites face Earth." Before Reed could respond, another alert sounded. Multiple objects launching from Earth's surface. Finally, Reed smiled. "Show me their primitive missiles. Let's end this quickly." But these weren't missiles. Hundreds of small objects scattered across Earth's orbit, too small to be weapons. The Imperial sensors classified them as debris. "Sir," an officer called out, "we're detecting some kind of interference with our scanning systems." Lord Marcus watched the pattern of the scattered objects. "It's a grid," he realized suddenly. "They're creating a..." His eyes widened. "Raise shields. Now." The warning came too late. The small objects activated simultaneously, creating an energy web that trapped the Imperial ships in a complex gravitational field. The mighty vessels of the Empire found themselves unable to move or fire their weapons. "Impossible," Reed shouted. "Their technology level." "Was a lie," Marcus finished. A new alert showed multiple ships emerging from hidden bases on the moon's far side. They were sleek, advanced, and definitely not primitive. "This is Admiral Smith of the Earth Defense Force." A transmission cut through their communications. "I believe your 48 hours aren't quite up, but we thought we'd save you the wait." The human ships opened fire. Their weapons weren't the crude nuclear devices the Empire had expected, but precise energy beams that sliced through Imperial shields as if they were designed specifically to counter Imperial technology. "How?" Reed demanded, watching as his fleet struggled against the gravitational trap. "Our intelligence showed them as a pre-space civilization." Lord Marcus laughed quietly. "No, General. Our intelligence showed what they wanted us to see. We've made a terrible mistake." He pointed to the tactical display. "Look at their attack pattern. This isn't the desperate defense of a primitive species. This is a carefully planned military operation, probably prepared over decades." The human ships moved with practiced precision, disabling rather than destroying Imperial vessels. Each shot was calculated, each maneuver coordinated. This was not the work of a species that had just reached their moon. "Send the warning to Imperial Command," Marcus ordered. "Tell them, Tell them we greatly underestimated the humans, and prepare our retreat. Retreat, Reed bellowed. We are the Imperial fleet. We do not retreat from primitives. These are not primitives, General, Marcus said sharply. These are predators who learn to hide in plain sight, and we just walked into their trap. As the Imperial ships struggled to break free from the energy grid, Admiral Smith's voice came through again. Consider this a counteroffer to your demands for surrender. We'll give you 48 minutes to withdraw from our solar system. After that, we'll show you what humanity does to empires that threaten our independence. Lord Marcus looked at the scattered remains of their scout ships, the perfectly executed trap, and the advancing human fleet. For the first time in his long career, he felt something he had never experienced before: fear of a primitive species. The underground facility, known as the Vault, stretched for miles beneath the Rocky Mountains. Director Bell walked through its massive halls, past rows of technology that humanity had kept hidden from the world and from space. Status report, she commanded, entering the central control room where dozens of operators monitored Earth's defense systems. The Imperial fleet is retreating past Mars orbit, an operator reported. But our long-range scanners show 3 more fleets approaching from different directions. They'll be here in less than 24 hours. Bell smiled. Perfect. Time to show them what else we've been hiding. Contact Admiral Smith. In orbit, aboard Earth's flagship Guardian. Admiral Smith received the message he'd been waiting for. Begin Phase 2, he ordered. Wake them all up. Across the solar system, hidden installations activated. Bases inside asteroids powered up weapons systems that had been waiting silently for decades. Pluto's supposedly uninhabited surface split open to reveal massive hangars. Even Venus, beneath its thick clouds of acid, held humanity's secrets. Sir, Lieutenant Wilson reported, all AI cores are online. The defense network is active. The Empire had no idea that humans had developed true artificial intelligence 50 years ago. They had kept it secret, knowing it would be their greatest advantage when the aliens finally came. These AIs weren't just computers, they were humanity's children, raised to protect Earth. This is Guardian AI reporting ready, a calm voice announced over the command channel. All defense platforms are under our control. Combat simulation success rate, 99.8%. Lord Marcus, watching from the retreating Imperial fleet, noticed the change first. Energy signatures are appearing throughout the solar system, he reported to the Imperial command. They're everywhere. We never saw them before because they were completely powered down. The approaching Imperial reinforcements didn't slow down. They had never lost a war in 50,000 years. They weren't about to start now. Their massive ships, each one capable of destroying a small moon, moved into attack formation. They still think we're primitive, Admiral Smith observed. Director Bell, show them what 21st century humans can really do. The Vault activated its primary weapon, not a gun or a bomb, but a system that humanity had developed after studying the physics of space itself. Quantum fields rippled across the solar system, guided by the AIs with perfect precision. The Imperial ships suddenly found their faster-than-light drives useless. Their energy weapons fizzled out. Even their artificial gravity failed. What's happening? Demanded the Imperial fleet commander. They've changed the fundamental laws of physics in this region of space, Lord Marcus explained, his voice filled with awe. Their technology, it's not more advanced than ours. It's just completely different. They didn't follow the same development path as the rest of the galaxy. Admiral Smith's voice broadcasted across all channels. While you were mastering faster-than-light travel, we were learning to manipulate reality itself. While you were building bigger ships, we were teaching computers to think. You thought we were primitive because we didn't match your checklist of technological advancement. The human fleet moved forward, their ships unbothered by the changed physics. They had been designed to work under these conditions. Small fighters zipped between the massive but helpless Imperial ships, targeting their engines and weapons with surgical precision. In the Vault, Director Bell watched the battle through the eye sensors. "They're sending out a distress signal," she noted. "Good," Admiral Smith replied. "Let the whole Empire watch. They need to understand what happens when they threaten Earth." The battle wasn't even close. Without their advanced technology, the Imperial ships were simply expensive targets. The human AIs calculated and executed perfect attack runs, while quantum fields prevented any effective resistance. Lord Marcus, watching his mighty civilization's ships being systematically disabled by a species they had dismissed as primitive, sent one final message to Imperial Command. "The humans don't need 50,000 years of history to be dangerous. They just needed the right motivation, and we gave it to them when we threatened their world." The battle ended in less than an hour. Not a single Imperial ship was destroyed. They were all simply disabled, transformed into powerless hulks floating in space. Humanity had made its point without unnecessary bloodshed. "Send the message," Admiral Smith ordered. "Tell the Empire that Earth is off limits, and if they want to talk about trade or diplomacy, they can come back when they're ready to treat us as equals." The Kuiper Belt became humanity's chosen battleground. Among the countless ice chunks and small planets, Earth's fleet waited. 3 weeks had passed since the first battle, and now the Empire had returned with something new. "They've adapted," Admiral Smith noted, watching the tactical display aboard the Guardian. "Those ships are different." The Imperial fleet approaching them was unlike anything seen before. Their ships now carried crude but effective quantum field dampeners, negating humanity's primary advantage. The Empire had spent its vast resources to counter Earth's technology in record time. "They're learning." Director Bell's hologram flickered in the command center. "But so are we. The AIs have analyzed their new defenses. We're ready." The Imperial fleet numbered over 1,000 ships. Earth had barely 100 vessels visible. The Empire had learned from their first defeat but still believed that superior numbers would win the day. Lord Marcus, now in command of the Imperial fleet after his warnings about humans proved correct, watched the human formations carefully. "They're too confident," he muttered. "What are they planning?" His answer came when the first wave of Imperial ships entered the Kuiper Belt. Suddenly, every chunk of ice and rock around them came alive. What looked like natural space debris revealed itself as camouflaged human weapons platforms. "Now," Admiral Smith ordered. The battle that followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. Human ships danced between Imperial vessels, using the debris field as cover. Each human captain worked in perfect sync with their ship's eye, achieving reaction times that left the Imperial crews stunned. "Watch this," Director Bell told her staff in the vault, pressing a button. Across all Imperial communication channels, videos began playing. They showed the Empire's previous defeat, but not just the battle. The footage included Imperial commanders panicking, their supposedly invincible ships floating helpless in space. Earth's AIs had recorded everything and turned it into a psychological weapon. "Impossible," an Imperial captain shouted as his crew watched their leader's humiliation played back to them. How dare they mock the Empire? But the damage was done. For the first time in 50,000 years, Imperial crews fought with doubt in their minds. They had never faced an enemy who didn't fear them, who actually mocked them. The battle split into dozens of smaller engagements. Imperial ships found themselves pulled into traps, their formations broken up by quick striking human vessels that seemed to appear from nowhere. "Sir," Lieutenant Wilson reported to Admiral Smith, "we're picking up transmissions from the Imperial fleet. Some ships are starting to retreat." Lord Marcus watched his fleet's cohesion crumble. The humans weren't fighting like a primitive species defending their home. They fought like predators who had lured their prey into a perfect killing ground. "Full retreat," he ordered, but it was too late. The debris field came alive again. Hidden tractor beams activated, trapping Imperial ships in a web of gravitational forces. But instead of attacking the trapped ships, human vessels began broadcasting on all frequencies. Images appeared on Imperial view screens, not of battles this time, but of Earth. They showed human cities, families, art, and culture. The message was clear. This was what the Empire was trying to destroy. "Attention, Imperial fleet," Admiral Smith's voice carried across space. "Look at these images. This is who we are. We don't want to be your enemies. We don't want to be your subjects either. We want to be your equals." The broadcasts continued, showing scenes of human achievement alongside scenes of Imperial ships being defeated. Pride and shame mixed in the Imperial crew's minds as they watched. In the vault, Director Bell smiled. "The best victory isn't the one where you destroy your enemy," she said. "It's the one where you make them question why they were fighting in the first place." Lord Marcus stared at the images of Earth, understanding finally dawning. The humans hadn't just prepared weapons and defenses. They had prepared to win without destroying. To defeat the Empire not just militarily, but culturally. "Send the message to Imperial Command," he ordered. Tell them we need to reconsider our approach to Earth. These humans, they're teaching us something we forgot during our 50,000 years of conquest." The Battle of the Kuiper Belt ended not with destruction, but with understanding. The Empire had finally met a species that didn't just resist. They demanded respect. The Imperial Palace on the capital world glowed with an angry red light. Inside the Grand Council chamber, voices rose in heated argument. The defeat at the Kuiper Belt had shaken the Empire to its core. "This is unacceptable," shouted Council Member Gray, his metallic armor reflecting the red emergency lights. "We cannot allow these humans to destroy 50,000 years of tradition." Lord Marcus stood calmly before the council, his battle-worn armor still showing scars from the recent fights. "The humans haven't destroyed anything. They've shown us our own weakness. Our pride has become our greatest enemy." The council chamber erupted in angry shouts. 50,000 years of victory had made the Empire's leaders unable to accept defeat. But something was changing. Younger council members watched the recordings from Earth with fascination rather than anger. "Look at how they fight," said Council Member Winter, one of the younger leaders. "They could have destroyed our ships, killed our crews. Instead, they chose to teach us a lesson." The Emperor himself sat silently on his throne, watching the debate unfold. His ancient eyes had seen countless species bow before the Empire. But never had he seen one fight back like this. Perhaps, the Emperor spoke for the first time, silencing the chamber. "We should listen to Lord Marcus. Tell us, old friend, what have you learned about these humans?" Marcus activated a holographic display, showing scenes from Earth. "They're different from any species we've encountered. They don't seek our destruction. They seek our respect, and they've earned it." In the depths of space, news of the Empire's internal debate spread. Subject species who had lived under imperial rule for millennia began watching Earth's resistance with growing interest. Some even began secretly sending messages to Earth, seeking knowledge and guidance. Director Bell received these messages in the vault. "Admiral Smith," she called over the secure channel, "we're getting interesting transmissions from within the Empire. It seems we're not just fighting a war. We're starting a revolution." The Admiral smiled. The human plan was working better than expected. "Send them our cultural package," he ordered. "Show them what freedom looks like." Back in the Imperial Palace, the debate took an unexpected turn. Council Member Gray, still angry, made a fatal mistake. "If these humans are so special," he sneered, "why don't we ask our subject worlds what they think?" The chamber fell silent. In 50,000 years, no one had ever suggested asking subject worlds for their opinion. But the question had been asked, and now it couldn't be unasked. "An excellent suggestion," Lord Marcus said quickly, hiding his satisfaction. "Let's see what our galactic community thinks about the humans." The responses shocked the council. World after world expressed admiration for Earth's resistance. Many praised humanity's combination of strength and mercy. Some even suggested that the Empire could learn from human culture. "This is rebellion," Gray shouted, but his voice sounded hollow now. "No," the Emperor corrected. "This is evolution. Our empire has grown stagnant. These humans, they've done more than resist us. They've shown us a better way. In the following days, the empire changed more than it had in thousands of years. Young leaders like Winter pushed for reforms. Old hardliners like Gray found themselves increasingly isolated. The humans had accomplished something unprecedented. They had made the empire question itself. Lord Marcus sent a private message to Admiral Smith. "You've achieved something remarkable. You've defeated us without destroying us. The Emperor wishes to open real diplomatic talks." In the vault, Director Bell read the message with satisfaction. "Should we tell them about the other weapons we haven't shown yet?" she asked Admiral Smith. "No," the Admiral replied. "Let's keep those for real emergencies. Right now, we're winning without them. The Empire is changing itself, and that's better than any victory we could achieve through force." The Empire had started this conflict expecting to teach humanity its place in the galaxy. Instead, humanity had taught the Empire that 50,000 years of power didn't make them invincible. It just made them blind to their own flaws. The old guard of the Empire wasn't going down without a fight. While the Emperor and younger council members pushed for peace, Council Member Gray had gathered a massive fleet in secret. 5,000 warships, crewed by Imperial veterans who couldn't accept change, prepared for one final battle against Earth. "This is your last warning." Admiral Smith's voice echoed across space. "The Emperor himself has ordered you to stand down." Gray's response came quickly. "The Emperor has grown weak. We will show humanity its true place in the galaxy." The rebel Imperial fleet emerged from hyperspace all at once, filling the space between Mars and Earth with warships. It was the largest fleet ever assembled in the Empire's history. In the vault, Director Bell watched the sensors light up. "They've really done it," she said quietly. "They'd brought their entire old guard to our doorstep." Admiral Smith stood on the Guardian's bridge, surprisingly calm. "Send the signal to our new allies." Suddenly, hyperspace portals opened throughout the solar system. Ships appeared, but not human ships. These were vessels from dozens of species that had lived under Imperial rule. They had chosen their side in this fight. "Did you think we would let Earth stand alone?" Came a transmission from one of the alien ships. "They showed us that resistance is possible. Now we stand with them." Gray's fleet found itself surrounded. But these were the Empire's most experienced warriors, commanders who had won countless battles. They wouldn't surrender just because they were outnumbered. "For the glory of the old Empire," Gray commanded, and his ships opened fire. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Earth's fleet, supported by their new allies, engaged the Imperial veterans in the largest space battle humanity had ever seen. The sky above Earth lit up with energy weapons and explosions, visible even from the ground. But humanity had one last surprise waiting. "Director Bell," Admiral Smith called. "It's time for Project Sunrise." Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, a hidden facility activated. It had taken decades to build, consuming resources that could have built 100 starships. Now, humanity's greatest weapon was ready. A beam of golden light shot up from the ocean, reaching into space. Where it touched Gray's ships, their weapons stopped working. Their shields failed. Even their life support systems started to fail. "What is this?" Gray demanded, watching his mighty fleet become helpless. "We call it the Sunrise Protocol," Admiral Smith explained, his voice carried to every ship in the battle. "It doesn't destroy your ships. It just turns off your ability to hurt others. We built it as a last resort, hoping we'd never need it." The beam expanded, covering more of Gray's fleet. Ship after ship lost power, their crews forced to switch to emergency systems just to stay alive. "You see," Director Bell's voice joined the transmission. "We knew that someday we might face an enemy too strong to defeat through normal means. So we found a way to simply turn off violence itself." The Allied fleet watched in awe as the mighty Imperial warships drifted powerless. There was no destruction, no death, just the quiet humbling of an arrogant force. Lord Marcus, watching from his command ship among the Allies, finally understood. This is why the Emperor was right, he broadcast to all ships. The humans don't just have better weapons, they have better ideas. They found a way to win without destroying their enemy. Gray's fleet, once the pride of the Empire, now floated helpless in space. Emergency shuttles carried crews to safety while the mighty warships slowly powered down. "Send a message to the Emperor," Admiral Smith ordered. "Tell him that the old guard's fleet is disabled but their crews are safe. They'll need transport home." As the golden light faded, Earth's allies moved in to help rescue stranded Imperial crews. The battle had ended not with the destruction of an enemy, but with an act of mercy that proved humanity's true strength. In the Imperial Palace, the Emperor received news of the battle. He smiled, knowing that the Empire would never be the same. The humans hadn't just defeated their greatest fleet. They had shown a better way to use power. 1 month after the final battle, Earth hosted the first Galactic Peace Conference. The Great Hall of the United Nations in New York had been modified to accommodate representatives from hundreds of alien species. Some were former Imperial subjects, others were independent worlds that had watched the conflict with interest. The Emperor himself attended, the first time in 50,000 years that an Imperial ruler had visited another species' homeworld as an equal. Admiral Smith and Director Bell stood at the entrance to greet him. "Your world is beautiful," the Emperor said, looking at the blue sky and green trees. "We were foolish to try to conquer it." Inside the hall, Lord Marcus sat next to Council Member Winter, watching as humans mingled freely with aliens from across the galaxy. "Look at them," he said. "No fear, no hatred, just curiosity and friendship." The formal meeting began with a surprise. Instead of demanding concessions from the defeated Empire, Earth's representatives proposed a new type of alliance. "We don't want to replace the Empire as rulers," Admiral Smith announced to the gathered species. "We want to help build something new, a galactic council where all species have a voice." Director Bell stepped forward, activating a holographic display that filled the hall. It showed technologies that humanity had kept hidden, not weapons, but innovations that could help all species. "We developed these in secret," she explained, "not to gain power, but to protect ourselves. Now we want to share them, to help build a better galaxy for everyone." The Imperial delegation was stunned. They had expected demands for reparations or territory. Instead, the humans were offering gifts. "But why?" asked an Imperial minister. "We tried to conquer you. We threatened your world." The Emperor answered before any human could, "Because they understand something we forgot. True power comes not from controlling others, but from helping them grow." The conference continued for days. Earth revealed more of its secrets: artificial intelligence that could be shared safely, clean energy technology, and medical advances that could help all species. But their greatest revelation was saved for last. "We found a way to travel between galaxies," Admiral Smith announced on the final day. "But we don't want to explore alone. We're inviting all species to join us in this new adventure." The hall erupted in excited discussion. The Empire had ruled this galaxy for 50,000 years, but now humanity was offering a chance to explore entirely new ones. Lord Marcus turned to Winter. "Do you understand now why I advised peace? They could have destroyed us. Instead, they're giving us a chance to become something greater." The Emperor stood to address the hall. "For 50,000 years, we believed our way was the only way. We were wrong. Today, the Empire officially recognizes Earth not just as an equal, but as a teacher." In the vault, junior officers watched the conference on screens. "Is it true?" one asked Director Bell over the comm. "We're really sharing everything." "Not everything," she smiled. "We're keeping a few surprises, just in case. But peace is worth the risk." As the conference ended, ships from hundreds of worlds lifted off from Earth, carrying with them new technologies, new ideas, and new hope. The Empire was transforming, its rigid hierarchy replaced by a more flexible alliance. Admiral Smith stood at his office window, watching the ships depart. "Do you think we made the right choice?" he asked Director Bell. "Sharing so much." "We shared knowledge," she replied, "but not wisdom. That they'll have to develop on their own, just like we did." The Emperor's ship was the last to leave. As it rose into the sky, he sent a final message. "To all worlds in the galaxy, beware of humans, not because they are dangerous, though they are. Beware because they will change you. They will make you question everything you believe. And in doing so, they will make you better." Earth had won more than a war. It had sparked a revolution in how species across the galaxy thought about power, progress, and each other. The age of conquest was over. The age of exploration and cooperation had begun. And somewhere in the vast darkness between galaxies, something stirred, noticing this change. Humanity's next great challenge was already waiting, but this time, they wouldn't face it alone.